Hi, my name is Vicki Ellis, and I am the Executive Director of Heritage Ranch Christian Children's Home. Thank you so much for tuning in for this video. Today, I am going to be talking about soft limits. So, I'll start with this. If you wanted to stop cars at a busy intersection, would you rely on yellow lights alone to get the job done? That's a quote that I saw by Robert McKenzie, and it just hit me. Because the reality is that if I had my kids in the car, I can guarantee you I'm not counting on a yellow light to be safe. Here's the reality. Yellow lights show that stopping is optional, or you can use your good judgment. So motorists often speed through them. Adults stop at red lights because we associate them with consequences. Car wreck, ticket, possibly higher insurance cost if you get into too many car wrecks. So we're not that much different than kids. If a kid sees a yellow light in the classroom, stopping is optional, not required. Same at home. So what I want to talk about is how what we're calling and what we'll call soft limits, they're yellow lights. They're a suggestion, a recommendation for behavior that your kid may or may not take seriously. So with soft limits, no means yes, sometimes, or maybe. Let me give you a little example. So your child decides they want a cookie. Let's pretend people actually have cookie jars still. I'm sure some do. They want to get a cookie out of the cookie jar. So you tell them not to. They get a cookie anyway, and they eat the cookie. And then I say, okay, well, check with me next time before you do it. I gave him an expectation to not do it, and then after he did it, I responded, well, would next time check with me? So what did my child learn? He learned that he could do something, even though I said not to. I would lecture a little bit, but there wouldn't be a firm outcome. So here's the thing. A soft limit often achieves the opposite of what you intend it to. When you give a soft limit to your kid, it's going to invite them to test you. It will often invite escalating behavior, and it will almost definitely invite power struggles. Soft limits are typically ineffective because they don't give kids the information that they really need to be able to connect why this creates this. They don't get a clear picture of the cause and effect between what we say and what we're doing, okay? It's like the traffic light. You know that if you go through a red light, you're gonna get a ticket. Well, if you go through a yellow light, you're probably good as long as you don't go under it while it's red. Soft limits are the same. They're a mixed message, an unclear signal about our rules and our expectations as parents. So when you're using soft limits, the biggest concern is that typically your words aren't supported with a clear action, and compliance is often considered optional. So if you are raising your child with soft limits, what they learn is they learn that they can usually tune out and ignore your words and push you to a point of action, and their goal is obviously going to be pushing you to a point of action that they want. So you're set up for, like I said, testing and power struggles. So let's talk a little bit about some of the types of soft limits, or what soft limits might look like. Okay, so if you're setting soft limits, it's going to look a lot like reminding, warnings, reasoning, explaining. There might be speeches about why they should do what they should do. Probably you might see a decent bit of negotiating, and often even you will ignore the misbehavior because you don't have a clear response. So what we're doing as parents when we use this is just ineffective role modeling. And we might even go to the point of like giving a special reward, like if you behave, I'll take you to McDonald's. Now, if you do that every once in a while, I understand, you're human. But when you do it regularly, it's not effective. So let me just go through a few examples. You might have heard yourself say some of these things. It's like, I really wish you would finish your chores before you go to the movies. I really hate it when you run around the store. If you throw that, you're gonna regret it. I need you to be home on time tonight, okay? All of these are messages that don't send any clear expectation, so thus they are very ineffective. What they do is they allow your child to walk away from a situation, and they put you in a position where you're cleaning up the mess for them, or you're problem solving for them. What you do is you end up ignoring unacceptable behavior and just hope that it goes away. And one of the difficult things, and probably one of the more detrimental, is that when you use soft limits, it puts you in a position where you are rescuing your child from experiencing unpleasant consequences. And guys, that is not real life. In real life, our kids are going to have to deal with the consequences of their choices in school, one day at work, and then when they have a family. So what you do when you're using soft limits is you often relax your standards in the hope that some of them will work and get the job done. So what I want to encourage you to do is to be mindful of the fact, again, that soft limits are like a traffic light. They're sending a mixed signal, and your kid doesn't know when to go or when to stop. And at the end of the day, they don't create the safety that you want. You want to be a parent that's going to be firm and give clarity. You don't want to be the parent where your kid is going to go through the light and get under it, and another car is going to barrel into them. And I hate to say that, but that is the reality. Traffic lights were set up to ensure order and safety. And for us as parents, soft limits do not create trust and safety and stability for our kids. And so I am, as part of this video series, going to be talking about not only soft limits, but firm limits. So I hope you will take the time to tune in and check out my other video on firm limits, which are the type of limits that will be productive when you're parenting your kids. My name is Vicki Ellis, and I am the Executive Director of Heritage Ranch Christian Children's Home. Thank you so much for tuning in.